Hi, everyone. My name is AJ Timms from the Den of Timms, also known as Horror House Media. And here today, I have my good friend Onion Avon. Say hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Uh, I don't normally make videos like this. This is not the content I normally make. Obviously, for those who are recent, might not know, uh, I'm the son of the gentleman Ken Timms, who was a very well known, very famous wrestler. My family's been in the business for nearly 50 years. Wrestling business, I should say. A lot of you who've been
Yep.
watching my content, probably who have been around for a long time, know that. But to my newer followers, if you didn't know that, now you do.
Yep.
Recently, I learned that a great wrestler and somewhat friend of the family had passed away. His name is Sabu. Phenomenal wrestler.
Or as sorry, or as some people close to him remember him as Terrence Michael Bronk.
He passed away yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that, as of the uploading of this video, that probably would have been a few days ago.
And well, at the time of the recording, I should say, he passed away or Sunday or Monday, and I just recently learned the news. So I wanted to do a little tribute to him. So we're gonna watch a couple of his matches, give some thoughts about some of the craziest moments that we remembered. Me and Onion remembered when we were children watching him wrestle. But I found this on Twitter and I shared it on my page. So I wanted to give a little shout out to for the love of wrestling.
Yeah, they made this amazing artwork featuring New Jack, featuring some of the other wrestlers that were in ECW as well.
The post states, so the post states, I have no idea who made this, but it's been shared around a lot already, and it's a fitting tribute. And it is because Terry Funk Jr. was a family. Terry Funk Jr. was a friend of the family, a very dear friend of the family. So it's nice to see Sabu getting the tribute that he deserves.
Yeah, and I mean, the artwork was awesome right there. I mean, they had like the barbed wire stairway right there to heaven.
And he's walking up the stairs getting ready for a massive 8-man fatal 4-way style match.
Or tag team.
And Lamont B. Anderson put it best. He was in a Royal Rumble and a fatal 4-way match that we will never witness, but can only imagine. Gone, but not forgotten. Thanks for the memory, Sabu, aka Legendary Warrior.
Yep. This wrestler right here was a hardcore icon in the business. He was one of the wrestlers who helped define the extreme style of wrestling, as well as like the deathmatch style of wrestling that we know of today. And if you don't know what that is, if you're new to the channel, well, let's just say that it's basically some of the most brutal forms of wrestling you could probably ever experience or watch.
It truly is. And he was a master of the craft. So,
exactly.
To show you a little bit of it, we're going to watch some of his recent matches. I'm going to switch.
Starting off with.
I'm going to start off with the match that would be his retirement.
And, yep, that would be the Joey Janela Spring Break pay-per-view for Game Changer Wrestling. This happened on April 18th of last month in the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you're wondering the timing of that, this was taken on the Friday of WrestleMania weekend.
Which is some of the stuff we discussed on a previous live stream about WrestleMania and my initial thoughts about it, which was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
First night absolutely sucked balls except for the last match. And the second night was a little bit better, had some better matches, had some better quality, but the main
Yeah,
event once again
we have.
was the takeaway match.
Yeah, we haven't really gone over a lot of the independent matches that happened on that weekend, so this is pretty much a glimpse into what happened during this weekend. And if you were wondering, like, why was he on this match? Well, Joey Janela challenged him at a GCW show at the Hammerstein Ballroom.
And so that's why he's here. So we're gonna watch some of the highlights of this match.
And it starts off strong right there. Great Titantron. Like, I mean, this is impressive for an independent wrestling promotion, in my opinion. They have such elaborate video screens right there.
The homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying maniac. This is Sabu.
Awesome introduction by the ring announcer, by the way. And as you know, like, it does cut between like different stuff. Oh, there's one of the there's one of the GCW wrestlers coming out, I believe.
Now, mind you,
I was like,
this ring does not have the traditional wire, the traditional rope. This is Bob Wire we're seeing right here.
Yep. This match was very special in the show as well, as this was, in fact, the main event of that pay-per-view. This was, as they described it, a no-rope barbed wire match. The most brutal match you can think of in professional wrestling, barring the exploding barbed wire stuff.
Which is kind of a fitting tribute, given that him and Terry Funk Jr. used to have similar matches like these. What a more fitting tribute. Let's continue on.
Oh my God!
Looks absolutely brutal.
And it sure does look brutal right there. Is Janela right there?
Oh my God!
He, in my opinion at least, can be considered as more of like a modern independent idol in professional wrestling. And there he goes through the wire, right near the stage. And there's the part we should definitely edit out right there. Don't copyright strike us, please. Oh, yeah.
This is Sandman coming in to help at this point.
Sandman, he is considered to be another big icon in ECW as well as the hardcore wrestling scene. Singapore Kane and all. And then Janela, bam, pushes him out of the ring. And there's Sabu with the double table.
Point to the sky.
Pretty much tell this, like, you pretty much can tell this is pretty much the limits of what pay-per-view can pretty much offer for professional wrestling. You know?
Boom, chair shot.
Yeah, they got the chair clash right there like they were clashing swords, right?
After he gives him a hug.
Giving him a hug, man. I have a feeling this is kind of a passing of the torch, you know?
Kind of, honestly. That's kind of what it feels like. Boom. Another chair shot.
Oh, yeah.
Under the gut. Boom. DDT right into the chair.
Yep, DDT right there. Yeah, some of these moves right here were the leg drop. Bam.
Leg drop with the chair. Game over.
Yep. 1, 2. And there is the bell. Sabu winning in his final match ever.
The winner of the match.
And the ring announcer right there, even though it's not some of the ECW ring announcers that we've seen so far, He definitely is a close second for probably one of the best ring announcers that we've seen for a match that Sabu was on.
Oh, I forget the name of the guy who was there in the early 2000s for SmackDown, but I always liked him for introducing him. But we're going to also go back about 6 years and watch a
The
match.
main of from the Gathering of the Juggalos from Juggalo Championship Wrestling. If you guys don't know, Sabu was a big icon in JCW as well. So shout out to the Juggalos who are probably going to be watching this video as well, because this right here is for you.
And without much further ado,
it is a 6-man tag team match between Team JCW, which consisted of Isaiah, Madman Pondo, and the Weed Man, taking on Sabu himself, Shane Douglas, and the Sandman, as he was featured on the previous match.
Out so Sandman can get around to do move.
And apologies for the camera quality as well, as this is a fan footage.
yeah, unfortunately,
That's it. That's Sandman right there, who was, I believe, right next to him. Well,
yeah,
not exactly she was certain.
wearing the
I mean,
blue
you can tell
shirt.
that was the Singapore King.
Yeah, so this was recorded by a fan, obviously, recorded probably on their iPhone or their Android or whatever. So the camera quality, audio quality is not going to be great. I'll do what I can in post production to doctor it up just a little bit, but it's not a whole lot I really can do.
Yeah.
Without actually having the raw footage itself.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, in terms of like the Sandman, he was known for entering in the ring through the crowd. So this is kind of a fitting thing for him to do.
Kind of explains why they gave the idea to the Shield, but anyways, let's continue.
Yep.
I got to get on all fours, I guess. I need you to get down. Yeah, no way.
And keep in mind, there are like some moments where you probably could get a copyright strike as well, so definitely try to skip for the entrance, you know.
Oh, I already skipped all the entrances. This is the match now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ooh, that looked brutal.
That was brutal right there. That's Pondo, by the way, if you don't know, that JCW shirt, who is trying to drive the Singapore King right into the Sandman. You can tell, I mean, Sandman was not really in a great shape at the time.
Usually most old timers are not in great shape.
And Sandman, if I recall, he's actually still doing matches to this day, with his most recent match being at a Appalachian Championship Wrestling show back in March. And there's Sabu pointing up to this guy. There's no Weed Man in that mask right there, and gosh dang. 6 years ago, he was definitely a good health.
He was somewhat moved. You see, Sabu is still moving despite being what I believe is 60s. He's still moving as if he was in his 40s.
He was in his 50s at the time.
It's still impressive to be able to move like that in your 50s, considering the brutal beatings he's taken.
I mean, the closest we could probably get to him at this age right there, probably be R-Truth. R-Truth, the irony here is that like R-Truth is actually is in his 50s.
Obviously, there's a lot of chaos, a lot of crazy things that's happening.
Yep. I mean, it is a 6-man tag team match, so considering they got some of the stars of JCW to go up against some ECW stars is impressive right there.
Bring a screwdriver out.
Somebody said bring a
Screwdriver out.
There's the table.
That's that was the first time I've ever heard that. Bring a screwdriver out.
Oh
No.
yeah.
No, don't bring the tables out. Bring a screwdriver out. I'm sure that's gonna help me win the match.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would say for certain the Juggalo audience for professional wrestling is wild. In fact, one of the craziest crowds you could probably think of in professional wrestling history, in my opinion, barring ECW, you know. Ooh, right from the table. 1, 2.
And that match is over.
Yep, and obviously the losers of this match were Sandman, Shane Douglas, and
Sabu.
Obviously, Sabu has had somewhat of a big history on JCW before, as he was on their programming multiple times, even back in 2007, I believe, when he was on their internet wrestling show that they had on the Insane Clown Posse's website, Slam TV. So, shout out to him, in my opinion at least. Which I have to say, I mean, gosh dang, that was awesome. And now let's go over some of his history as well with the wrestling business and what, of course, what this really means as well. If you don't know, he was the uncle of the original Sheik. The original Sheik, unfortunately, he passed away as well. So it's a kind of. I hope these two are reunited with each other. The original Sheik, he was a famous wrestler in the Detroit area and also one of the originators of the hardcore style of wrestling. He was the main booker for Big Time Wrestling, a National Wrestling Alliance territory that was over in Detroit, Michigan during the 1970s. Apparently, Sabu had a bunch of matches with his uncle as well, and sometimes even his uncle would even do matches with another wrestler who, the irony was, this wrestler was going by the name the Iron Sheik. So he pretty much was like changed his name to original Sheik and stuff like that. But the truth is like Sabu, he has a legacy that goes all the way back, even before his career ever began.
As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to like the family and whatnot, I remember watching the Sheik a lot during WWE's version of ECW and being absolutely stunned at a lot of the moves and stunts he was capable of doing, being absolutely mind blown. Because at the time I had seen some of the crazy stuff, but I didn't know there was wrestlers capable of doing that. Well, of course, we knew Rey Mysterio Jr., phenomenal wrestler in his own right.
Sorry if I interrupt right there, but this, the original Sheik did not. It was not even in WWE, unfortunately.
No, he was. If he was ever featured, it would have been WWF, which would have been Worldwide Wrestling Federation. But since he was in the NWA, to my knowledge, he never went to Vince Senior.
Oh, he was in the Capital Wrestling Corporation for a few matches.
But anyways, to continue on speaking about Sabu, I remember watching a lot of his matches, especially with John Cena, Kane, The Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, Big Show, and seeing a lot of it and being absolutely stunned at a lot of the moves he was capable of doing. Especially, I really felt he got over great with Big Show and Rey Mysterio, because with Rey Mysterio, it was the extremist versus the luchador, and then with Sabu, it was, or I should say, with Big Show, it was like watching Rey Mysterio versus him in that sense, but it's the hardcore
Yep.
version taking him on. And I thought it was phenomenal seeing how those two were just, like, for example, when he caught Big Show in the face with a beautiful drop kick that through the chair, Big Show catches the chair, boom, drop kick right to the face, and just Big Show going down like he did. Sabu's famous leg drop with the steel chair, kind of like what Hogan would do. I thought made it
Yeah.
really phenomenal in my opinion as well.
In fact, Rey Mysterio, he has had somewhat of a brief history with ECW before moving to WCW.
So
And we're talking about senior, not senior. We're talking about junior, essentially. You know.
yes. Oh, Rey Mysterio Jr. So
Which I have to say, I mean,
so tell
Oh,
us a
sorry.
little bit about his first ever match. Since we've discussed his very last match, let's talk about his first ever match.
yep. Unfortunately, we don't have the footage of his first match, but his first match was on August 4th, 1990. This was at a big time wrestling event at the Toledo Speedway in Toledo, Ohio. Shout out to them, by the way. Some of the matches that that were on this match, that were on this show right here were Ken Patera versus the Canadian Warrior. He's actually been somewhat known in like WWE in the past, but only for like a few brief matches, and also on the Survivor Series elimination matches as well. He was on UWF for a while. Herb Abrams is person. He was on the AWA, and as for some of the other wrestlers that were on that match as well, Sabu, who was also known as Sabu the Elephant Boy, it was taken on Fred Curry, who was also involved in WWE during the 1970s. There was also a couple of other wrestlers on there too. But the main event in particular was his uncle taking on a wrestler who was known as the Butcher for the United States heavyweight title in a steel cage match.
Which my opinion again, it just goes to show you that he came from talent and he was a very talented wrestler, a very talented man, and was a very kind gentleman from a lot of people I've spoken to.
Exactly. And I mean, he was pretty much in almost every promotion during his time. He was not only in just ECW, WWE, and even some of the indies. He was in AAA over in Mexico. He was in New Japan Pro Wrestling for a while, along with Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, also in Japan. He was in XPW, which was ran by Rob Black. He was in the NWA, obviously, due to his ECW connections and stuff like that. Considering that ECW was not always extreme. Back in the early 90s, it was an affiliate of the National Wrestling Alliance, a territory, if you will, you know?
Yep.
He was in MLW, and he was also in Total Nonstop Action Wrestling's
TNA.
matches as well, including TNA, including a couple of pay-per-views in there. He was in, like, I mean, let's just say that, like, he was in so many different promotions that it could be hard to count them all, you know?
It's hard to completely sum up his legacy, but he truly was a phenomenal wrestler, truly phenomenal person. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and give my final thoughts. And we're going to let Onion give his final thoughts, and we're going to get out of here. But overall, I think this should be the reminder to a lot of people that you never know how much time on earth you're gonna have. So live out your dream. Do what you want. Sabu did what he loved, doing what he truly loved, I should say, which was wrestling, and he ended it on his terms. It's like the Ultimate Warrior said it best. Every man's heart's gonna stop beating one of these days. He's gonna take his final breath, and what will be left behind will be his work, will be his legacy. His work is your legacy, and that's what he's left behind. His phenomenal matches through the years, the amount of people he's worked with, the amount of people's lives he's touched, really shows what kind of man he is. So to you, Sabu,
Exactly.
I say rest in peace, sir, and I hope to get to see you one day in the squared circle in the sky. What about you, Onion? What's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts on Sabu, honestly, I have to say, he has been a phenomenal wrestler. In fact, probably one of the best you probably could ever find in the industry, in a house show or on television. And I have to say, he was also a very nice wrestler outside of the ring as well. So like when he was at conventions, I heard a lot about how awesome he was to talk to. So, anyways, even though I was not able to meet you, Sabu, I hope eventually, to see you up in that great arena in the sky.
And with that, this has been AJ Timms from Horror House Media and
Onion Anon,
from the
signing
new
off.
Ravencast. Signing out. Have a great one, everyone.